If you remember, about a year ago I installed a wood furnace. Let me just backtrack a little, because today is the AC day, or the start of the AC process. So the house is two halves with two separate electric heat pumps, about 2.5 tons of AC each. Before we did any of these modifications, our electric bill in the depth of winter and the depth of summer was about $350 a month, and escalating, because electrical prices in this area are just taking advantage of the boom in construction, put it that way. I think it's price gouging, but we have a booming region, and hence everything is increasing astronomically. So what I did was to put a heat exchanger in the air duct system at that end of the house. I have not installed the one at this end of the house yet. I installed a hot water loop from the furnace that is wood fired, giving us 130-degree water circulating in a loop under the house, very well insulated, up to the heat exchanger at this end. That gave us 110 to 120 degree air coming out of the registers when the circulation fan was on, and provided us with fantastic free heat all winter long. Free because we have a few trees, right? So easy to acquire the wood that we need. You can see videos on that. They are on the channel. I piped it through to the heat exchanger at this end and gave myself a couple of tee-in spots for the cold water loop. So the cold loop is going in today. It's a very simple process. I've sized it by guesswork. I have a friend that required 8 tons of AC for his monstrous house, and the geothermal installation company put in 1,000 feet of underground pipe. Oh, they put in 900 feet of underground pipe, and it's functioning fabulously. We have only a 3,000 square foot house that only has 5 tons of AC, but I'm putting in 1,000 feet because 2 500-foot rolls of 1-inch PEX are only $330 a piece. So total cost of pipe work about $650. Total cost of diesel for the day is going to be $50, and I'll have these dropped in. I then need a circulation pump and a thermostat. I'm going to figure out how to run the cold loop off the heat loop thermostat, if I can figure it out, but that'll be the subject of another video. So today is trench day. I'm gonna go down probably 8 feet because I want to put one 500-foot loop in at the bottom, backfill it with a couple of feet of dirt, put a second 500-foot loop in, backfill that. So let's see how far I can get without hitting rock. I have to go all the way down to where you see the end of that pipe and then come back. So one trench, it'll be looped at the end and then coming back again. So time-lapse time, I think, and start digging a trench. It's 4 p.m. quitting time. I got something else I have to do. I've got about, I'd say I'm 2/3 of the way. I have another 30 yards, another 90 feet, which means I've done about 180 feet. So I'll have that done probably in a couple of hours tomorrow. I managed to get 8 feet. I've hit water in a few spots, but I'm happy with a 8-foot trench. Get the trench finished and then explain the rest in just a minute. The pipe is in. The turnaround at the end is not too tight. It's nowhere near as tight as the roll that the PVC came on. The pegs, I mean, came in. So it's about a 3.5 foot radius turn, nice and easy. Got the pipes nicely separated all the way up. It's well worth spending an hour straightening the pipe before you start trying to fight it down the hole. But that's good. I'm glad I did. So I'm going to backfill this with a couple of feet and then get the second pipe in. I'll probably backfill it, compact it with the bucket, then put the second pipe in. Second pipe will be easier because it'll only be 6 feet down, and it'll be dry. As you can tell, this is not dry, but on with the show. So first loop is backfilled and packed down, and then second loop is in, spread out nice and evenly. There's actually a narrow spot there. I'll jump back in and go fix that. All the way up to the house. First loop is into the house, and second loop, of course, is just about to be backfilled. So look at that. I got to jump down there and fix that because I'm picky. But anyway, nice separation, nice and level. It is well worth spending the time straightening the pipe in the sunshine before you start putting it in the pipe. So I'm jumping in there and I'm fixing it. It could not be a better day to be thinking about air conditioning. It is so incredibly humid and hot today. And this is May the 21st. So let me get on and backfill. Well, the 2 loops are in, and the 4 pipes where they come up anywhere near the ground, insulated them. It's kind of pointless, but I've insulated those and sealed it where it joins the house. Backfilled to this point, and the skid steer's down. The starter's gone bad. It won't turn over. So I had to finish this as best I could with the Mini. So I'm going to fill this hole with this material here and do the best job I can cleaning up. Then I got to try and fix the skid steer. It's 5 o'clock on day 3. All of the outside work is done until I get a new starter for the skid steer, and then I can pick this up and do the final grade. But some rain would be good, let it settle. I'll have a hollow all the way down there. I got to refill that and grade it back again anyway, so no harm done. Tomorrow, inside work, hook it all up. The circulation pump comes on Saturday, so I won't be able to get it to work until the weekend. But I'll get it all done tomorrow and ready for the pump. See. You can tell I started on the other end of the system. So there's the heat exchanger right here. And this is the hot water loop that circulates through the system and disappears off behind me up to the other end of the house. And the hot water loop is teed with the cold because they are never both on at the same time. So the hot water loop is shut off here and here. The cold water loop will be turned on here and here. I've got a fill valve, which is the lower of the two pipes, and a vent to fill the cold loop when I'm ready to fill it. They'll stay here permanently, but in fact I should remember to turn them off. The pipes then disappear the other side of the air handler, and I'll talk about it again. So these are the two lines that come over the top of the air handler. The one closest to me is the top of the air handler, the top of the intercooler, which connects to the upper loop. The upper and lower loop are connected together, and then that is one of the lower loop pipes with the other pipe from the bottom of the heat exchanger waiting for the circulation pump, which is going to go right there. So I can fill it through those valves at the other end. Breaker panel here with a spare gap in it. Bring the power across, and sit the circulation pump over there. I will do that when that arrives, which will be Saturday, and then I can juice the thing up. Enough for today. Today is day 4, but today has only been about 2 hours on the heating system. So the pump finally arrived. It's the following weekend. Pump is in, screwed down there to a board just to give it a bit of support. And I'm lucky enough to have a sub panel here at the end of the house that was put in for the AC. So I've been able to give it its own 15 amp breaker, and it's just inside the door, so I can easily turn it on and off. So now I've got to go get the hose, fill the system. All right, so this is the ground filling adventure. Just to remind myself, this is the hot loop, which is shut off. This is the cold loop that's also shut off right now, because I'm pressure feeding this side with the garden hose, and I'm taking the air out of this side. And then after that's all stopped up, I might have a little bit of air there, but nothing to worry about. And I can then open up these stopcocks. So, turn this on, I should hear the water running. There it goes. Make sure there's no leaks. And then I open this up and I should have air. But then I'm going to shut the video off because I'm probably going to get soaked. There you go. Hear the air? And I'm going to leave that open until I get water. What I should have done was to make a short hose that comes down here into the bucket. But never mind. I'm just going to rotate that around, I think, so that I can get to the bucket without getting soaked. But if I get soaked, no big deal. All right, let me get all the air out. So the water's coming through. Took a while. I'd say it took a good 10 minutes. That's 1,000 feet of 1-inch diameter pipe. And I'm leaving it running for a bit just to drive as much air out as I can. It hasn't been burping any air since the water first arrived. It's mostly missing my bucket because of my foolish place I put the spigot, but never mind, no big deal. I could make my life a little easier by forcibly rotating those fittings, but I don't want to. So I'll wait until my bucket is not too full to squeeze out of here, and I'll shut that top valve off first, shut the bottom one off second, turn the water off, disconnect the hose, and start checking some temperatures. All right, so just checking a few things out. The side of the air handler is at 68 degrees. This power cable, water line, is at 67. So it's fair to say that everywhere I check is 70 degrees, between 68 and 70 degrees. If I check somewhere that's a little unfair, yep. So 68 degrees is the temperature in the crawl space. The temperature of the water, I've had this running just for a few minutes. Temperature of the water going into the pump from the heat exchanger has dropped. It was at 67, it's now at 63. Coming out of the pump, it should be exactly the same, which it is. Coming around the loop after 500 feet of being underground, it's 60, and it's dropping. That was at 65 when I first checked it. It's been about 15 minutes, and as I check around, the crawl space is at 69 and a half, depending on the materials. 60, so 70 degrees is the temperature of the crawl space, and the temperature of the water going into the loop is 65, coming back 64.7, 64.4. All right, so let's call it 64. 64.2. All right, so crawl space 59. Okay, so 60. Crawl space is at 70, water is at 60. That for sure means it's cooling down. Let's go up into the house and see what's happening. Right, so this is the moment of truth. The left-hand thermostat is our regular thermostat that controls both heat and cool, and of course still functions and the system functions in the normal way. So it's telling me that the house is at 69 degrees. I've set it on to AC, and I've set it at 66, so it's going to try and draw the house down to 66 degrees. The right-hand thermostat differs just a little in that it's reading 70 degrees, and I've noticed these two thermostats read 1 degree different quite often, and then they sync up and then they're a degree out. So my guess is it's within the realm of normal accuracy. The AC has been on for 5 minutes. I can feel the nice cool air in the house, and the temperature of the air coming out of the vents is 57 degrees. It started at 65 and dropped down to it's hard to get a spot that's believable, but 57 degrees. So now let's set this over to work on just the circulation fan. So the way for me to do that would be to increase the cool temperature until it matches or exceeds the house temperature. In fact, I'm going to set it up quite a bit. I'm going to set it up to maybe 76. Thermostat has clicked, so the fan should turn off in just a moment. The thermostats are reading the same at 69. Well, I'm all excited. So the right-hand thermostat is set at 74. I've got a small issue in that I have to wire this differently. Right now I've got it in heat mode so that it operates the air handler. The air handler is on. It won't go off until it gets to 74, which is what I've set it at. And the temperature coming out of the air ducts is 62.59. See, obviously I'm hitting the, I want to get it down the vent so I actually get the temperature. So I would say it's reliably coming out at 64, which is actually the exact same temperature as the water. The house temperature is 69. So house is at 68, and air that's coming out of the registers on the ground is 64. So it's not as effective as the central AC system, which kicks out air at 59 to 60, but it's kicking out air at 64. So I'm very happy with that. I think I will live with it for a while and see if it gets better or worse. It's dropped the temperature of the house by 1 degree already. It's already down to 69. It was at 70 when I turned it on a few minutes ago. So I would say that's a raving success, but only down to 65 degrees. So one small correction, or at least something that I'd forgotten to mention as I was doing these tests, is that I did not check the conventional AC duct temperature prior to hooking up the water loop and having it circulate. So the 59 degrees that the conventional AC system kicks out is in fact the result of both the cooling water and the outside condenser. So the cool water loop allows you to improve the efficiency of your AC if you have both running, where the air that comes out of the air handler will be at a particular temperature and then warm up as it travels down the ducts. With this system, it's having to pass over a cool interchanger that's at 65, and hence it helps maintain the air temperature coming out of the ducts as low as possible. And as we've seen, it comes out at 59 degrees. When you turn the conventional system off and have only the cold water loop, that is when the temperature is coming out of the ducts at 64 degrees. So I'm actually now waiting for a very hot day to do a final test, but this is a raging success. Total cost of everything was $1,000, somewhere like 930. And it took me 4 days to do it. They weren't full days, but effectively 4 days to complete the work.